Okay, continuing our discussion on NIST cybersecurity framework. Again, just trying to walk through each control and trying to make a little more sense of it, trying to talk about it in kind of plain English. We are now on IDRM3, which is Identify Risk Management Strategy, control number 3. The wording on that control is the organization's determination of risk tolerance is informed by its role in critical infrastructure and sector-specific analysis. So I know we've had a lot of questions on this one, and I know it sounds kind of confusing. But the reality is, based on the sector that you're in and the critical infrastructure, that should impact your risk tolerance. So what does that mean? So if I'm a hospital, I already know that year after year, my data is probably the most sought after data out there from a hacking standpoint. The number one, right? So with that said, my risk tolerance is going to be lower because I'm under attack, much more so than some other industries. So I'm already going to have a bit of a low a tolerance, and so anything beyond that, we're not going to have to go and get tons of detail from a healthcare client on why their tolerance for risk is low. On the flip side of that, because that's a very conservative approach, right, on their part. But on the flip side of that, an industry that maybe currently does not have such a highly sought after data set, maybe auto industry, which we serve that industry, maybe their mentality is, hey, look, we've been watching the annual reports on our industry, and we're coming in number 32nd in the top 50 sought after data out there in the market, based on the number of hacks, the number of the sales price on the black market, blah blah. And so based on the fact that, hey, we're not even the top 10, I've got kind of a moderate risk tolerance. Well, obviously that's a less conservative approach, and you'd want to document that. And so you want to have a basis for that. And it could be that as you're watching those annual reports that come out to share that top 50 and the top 10, that next year your auto industry moves up to the top 5, and all of a sudden you are in the top 5 most sought after data. The whole point in this is that you're considering that in your risk tolerance and going, wow, we have shot up the flagpole here. My risk tolerance needs to pull back a bit. My example to the group was that if you're on a road that never you've year after year you've never seen any law enforcement on, your tolerance for speed might be a little higher because you're a little less concerned. On the other hand, if you're on a road that every time you go on that road you see multiple law enforcement, your tolerance for speed might be a little lower because there's a higher risk that you could get a ticket if you are speeding on that road. So that's where this control is really going, and hopefully that will help clear up some of the confusion on it. Again, that's IDRM3. And so we'll move to the next control.